Hello everyone, my name is Joel, also known as Trogdor, and in some other places known as Extreme Rocker. And today I am going to show you a little something that I put together. It's my Minecraft launcher. Now most of you know, especially if you see right here, that Mojang has made their own Minecraft launcher, and let's see if I can get it to come up here. There it goes, Minecraft launcher, and it has your basic launcher layout. It has the Minecraft news, has where you can type in your username, your password, and you can't see them very well because of the textures that I'm using for Windows right now, but it has an options button and a login button, remember password, and button if you need an account. And the launcher as it runs right now, I believe is running 1.5, which will, okay, sorry, 1.5.1, as you see right here. And this is vanilla. This is vanilla Minecraft. But I didn't want to play vanilla Minecraft. I wanted to play with some mods. So I made my own launcher right here. As you can see, I called it Gmoddit. And it's set to launch the Arcadia pack, which is actually my private mod pack. Not available for download, sorry guys. And it has a place for your username, your password, remember me, an exit button, and launch the pack. And if you click the launch Arcadia pack button, you'll see that it launches Forge, Minecraft, and it takes a little bit here, but it should eventually, soon, hopefully. There we go. Minecraft 1.4.7, and you see it has Minecraft Coder Pack, Forge Mod Loader, Minecraft Forge, 28 mods loaded, 28 mods active. Let's go ahead and look in there and take a look at those mods, see what they look like. Bibliocraft, Computercraft, just some mods that I thought were fun and interesting that I wanted to play with. So, how did I do that? I have two Minecraft launchers, one by Mojang and one that I made myself. And the one that I made myself is modded, Mojang's is not. So, we're going to take a look at how I did that here. I think the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and look at the form, the actual program itself. So let's just go over the basic construction here. I have a button for your username. If you look over here in the properties, I called it username. I mean text box. And then I have a text box for password. As you can see, I also uniquely named it password. Then I have button 1, exit, internet check, and the remember me box. Now the internet check actually doesn't have quite the functionality that I want it to yet. In later versions of Gmoddit, it will eventually go and look at what mods and stuff you have in your what mods and stuff you have installed, and if any updates have been made, it will download those updates individually. Instead, if you do not have it checked, then it will just download the entire client, re-download it, and I think it's something like 20 megabytes, and if you have slow internet, that can add up pretty fast. So it's really simple. The form itself, as you can see, the form Borderstyle, I made this in Visual Studio, by the way. The form Borderstyle is none. The default is usually fixed single, but I have it set to none. And then I have a background image, which is just a little something that I threw together in GIMP, and then I put together an icon as well, so that when you run it, it shows its icon down at the bottom on your taskbar, which you might have seen that when I launched it the first time, but just to be sure, we'll go ahead and show you. I'm going to start without debugging. Yeah, here it is right here. And there's the icon down there that I made for it. So let's go into the code, see how it works. Alright, for this next bit I was debating whether or not to show you the mouse capture code, but I think that it's probably Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you because it is pretty important. This is actually something that I copied from Google, so I'm not entirely sure how it works or why things are named this way. But you're going to be importing a DLL attribute from user32.dll. You're going to be importing send message, which has its own list of parameters, and release capture. And you will see how those are used later in the code. Because you'll notice if you go back here, I don't have the form border around the window. So the only way to be able to drag it is to click on the window itself. And should you need to move it from one screen to the other, then you'll get pretty problematic if you could only have it available on one screen. You couldn't move it around or anything like that. So this is pretty basic. Just your traditional code, initialize component. That's usually all that's here in the public form one. But I went ahead and added some code, some things that I thought it should do before you actually were able to use the form itself. We went ahead and set in a key event handler and a mouse event handler. One is for the password box, and this is important because a lot of people, when they type in their password, they like to be able to press enter immediately after typing their password. So that's actually a pretty nifty feature that I was able to incorporate. And then the mouse capture code is actually, that I declared up here, it's actually used by the mouse event handler, and that's how we drag the window around. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that the directory exists for where you're going to install it, because if this is the first time you've run the launcher, it needs to go ahead and set up some things before it can begin downloading the mod pack or the client or anything. So it needs to go ahead and check to see if your directory exists. If it does not create the directory. It's going to check to see if the file containing your last login exists. If that file does not exist, it's going to go ahead and need to create it. And I should go ahead and add right here, add a comment here that this creates a blank file. And then we're going to go ahead and close that file. And notice I call it you are a dummy, because in a previous version I did not have it checked to see if this file existed, and it actually crashed the program several times before I figured out what was going on. So it's a good thing that we added it. And then we're going to go ahead and open that up, declare a string for username. We're going to go ahead and read a line and put it into username. However, if that does not come up null, then we know that we were set to remember the username and password previously. So we're going to go ahead and keep that box checked for future purposes. Then we're going to read the password in, and currently I do not have it encrypted, but I have a neat encryption algorithm that uses random bit shifting. It's based on a random number generator, and it shifts bits randomly. It adds or subtracts random numbers based on a random number generator that you can seed, and that seed will actually be kept private within the program itself. So the only way to basically crack the encryption is to go into the code and figure out what the seed for the random number generator was. So then we're going to copy all this into this username.text. That's actually the username text box on the form that you saw right here. Let's go over here to the properties. You see its name is username right here. And then this .password.text, that's the password box right here. And as you can see, its name is password. So we wanted to be sure that we were referencing the proper password, so I went ahead and declared or called this, which is gmod form 1. So I wanted to make sure it was referencing the proper username and password, because I accidentally goofed on that and didn't have time to go back and change it. So after we load all that in, then we're just going to go ahead and close the login info file, which we opened right up here. And that's it for initialization. To actually launch. Oh, here's the. My bad. I got ahead of myself. Here's the code that handles the mouse event. Basically, it looks at your takes your mouse event arguments right here, and this is E. The mouse event argument is E. If E.button equals mouse buttons left, basically, if you click the left mouse button, we're going to release capture, and we're going to send a message to basically, I'm not entirely sure what this does right here, but basically it says, hey, we're going to move the form. We're going to send the instead of the mouse sending instructions to the pointer on the screen, the cursor right here, basically it sends it to the form and says, hey, we're going to move. That's the nearest I can figure out what it is. Like I said, I copied this code off the internet, so I'm not entirely sure how it works. So now we're going to go ahead and get into launching the actual mod pack, and before we go into that, I'm going to make sure my code doesn't have anything that would detail how to get to my mod pack. Alright, we're back. I had to go ahead and make sure that the code did not contain anything on how to get to my actual mod pack. Since it is a private mod pack, I do not have permission from the mod authors to put them together into a mod pack, so I actually cannot release this publicly. But here we go. The when you click the button, launch Arcadia pack, which, by the way, you can change the text on this to fit whatever you want. But when you click on that, it says, hey, if remember me is checked. Then we're going to go ahead and open the login info, and we're going to go ahead and save the username and the password for future use, and then we're going to close that. Otherwise, we are going to blank out the login info just in case. We're going to create a blank file and it overwrites the old file. Just in case there is some login info there, we're going to go ahead and blank it out. Now we're going to set up a few variables here. We're going to set up is modded and client exists both to false. We're assuming that the client does not exist and it is not modded. We're going to set our folder location, which is in my computer's C drive, gmodded, not Minecraft. And for those of you that are wondering, this little @ symbol right here, prefacing the string, means that everything within these quotes is literally what you want the string to be. So it's literally C drive /gmodded /.minecraft. Without the @ symbol right here, let's go ahead and take that out. I would have had to put another slash here and another slash here because the backslash actually denotes a special character. So if you want to include this slash in a string, you have to type 2 of them so it knows it's not a special character, you actually wanted a slash there. But that actually takes extra keystrokes, and because I'm lazy, I go ahead and put the @ symbol in front. Oh, and if you noticed, it popped up an error down here. If I take the @ symbol away, it'll say it's an unrecognized escape sequence. It doesn't recognize that as a special character. So we'll go ahead and put that back in. Then we're going to go ahead and store our mod location is basically the folder followed by mods. The core mod location, folder followed by core mods. And then we're going to go ahead and set up a temp location because this is where we're going to download our files from the internet. Alright, we're going to check to see if the folder location exists. If it does, then we're going to assume that the client exists. If the and I ran into this problem earlier with another person testing my launcher. The temp location did not exist, and when we tried to download the files, we ran into a big error because it did not know where to put them. So we're going to go ahead and create the temp location just in case it doesn't exist. Then we're going to check and see if version 3.modded exists. This is actually just a blank file that I include for the launcher to track which version you have. I believe in later versions of this launcher I'm going to have it check for available updates, And if there's an update available, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this, but if there's an update available, then it's going to update the launcher, it's going to re-download it, and then later it's going to run the launcher separately, and the launcher is going to check for this version file. But in the meantime, the launcher and the download are all the same. But if the version file exists, then we're going to say it's modded. Now, previously I had version 1.moddit and version 2.moddit, and but this time I came around to version 3. So basically, if the versions do not match, we're not modded, and we're going to go ahead and download and extract the 3 files. As you can see, I had to change some URLs right here so that you don't know. You can't access my mod pack because it's, like I said before, it's private. So before we get into that, we're going to check and see if the internet check, I have slow internet, was checked. And if it is, then we're going to download these files separately because that actually seems to work better with slow internet. We're going to go ahead and update label 4, which I forgot to show you because it's extremely hard to find. Label 4 is right here, and it's blank. So it's just shows the status of what's going on with the program. It's just a basic way for me to tell the user, hey, you know, this is what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and say, hey, we're downloading the client. And previously I ran into problems with the downloader starting to download the file and freezing the program before I had a chance to display downloading client on the label. So I go ahead and force this, which is the form, to update, and you'll see right here it causes the control to redraw the invalidated regions within its client area. And basically it says, hey, I'm going to wipe everything that I know about myself from memory and refresh. And that's exactly what it does. And so it updates and says, hey, downloading client on label 4. So then it downloads the client right here, throws it in the temp location, client.zip. Downloading mods, go ahead and refresh. Download the mods to mods.zip. And I did not mean to do that, so I'm going to do that. Downloading core mods, refresh, download core mods.zip. Then it says that we're extracting, and here's a little something that was interesting because not everybody has the .NET Framework version 4.5, which actually comes with Visual Studio 2012. That's what I'm using here to write this program. Because not everybody has version 4.5, I actually had to make it backwards compatible with old versions. And while I was digging in the MSDN knowledge base, I discovered that I can actually make this backwards compatible with as far as version 2.0. So if you have not updated your .NET Framework version from 2.0, which I believe was running on Windows XP, then this launcher will still work for you because it interfaces with Shell 32, and the Shell 32 is actually the Windows operating system. So it's going to create a new instance of the shell of just a subsystem within the operating system, and it's going to go ahead and create a directory, and then it's going to go ahead and set the folder output to be C drive temp Minecraft, and the input is going to be the temp location client.zip, and then oh, I know how I do this. It's the namespace. Okay, I get it now. I confused myself with my own code there for a bit. And then it's going to output.copy here, the input items, and then 256 right here is actually a code that says, hey, we're going to unpack everything, the folder, its subfolders, and all of its files, and we're going to throw it into output folder, which is C drive temp Minecraft. And we're going to do the same thing with the mods and the core mods, and then we're going to change label 4 to say, hey, we're cleaning up, we're going to update it, we're going to delete the zip files that we downloaded. And before I scroll down any farther, I know that there's some code down there that shows how to get to my mod pack, so I'm going to pause right quick, change that code, and I'll be right back. Okay everyone, I'm back. Previously, you will have noticed that we checked to see if internet check was checked, and if it was, then we downloaded the file separately. But if the user indicated that they did not have slow internet, then it's going to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to download the full client, and it may take a while. So it's going to download the client full, which is a giant zip file that contains everything, the client, the mods, the core mods, everything all in one zip file. It's going to go ahead and extract it, use the same process that we did before. Say, hey, we're cleaning up, delete the zip file, and then we're going to throw some Visual Basic code in here. One thing I noticed with C#, which is the language that I'm using, is that it does not like to play well with the operating system. And I don't know if that's because I'm using an old framework version of 2.0, or if it's just that the language itself is not very conducive to Windows programming and interactions with the operating system. But I noticed that Visual Basic has this neat little thing, and it's within its file system. You can copy an entire directory and paste it wherever you want. And if you notice right here, it says file system proxy.copy directory. It looks for the source directory name, the destination directory name, and then it has a bool overwrite. And if you set overwrite to true, it will actually copy all of the files and overwrite any files with the same names without asking you, which is really great because sometimes users might not know if they're supposed to be overwriting your files or not. In this case, we do want them to overwrite all the files, so we set it to true. Then we delete the .minecraft folder in the temp file, set client exists to true, set ismod to true. Previously, we checked for all of this, but if the client did not exist or was not modded, it would have skipped over that and not been set to true, so we have to go ahead and set it to true. Where to go? Right here. And so we're going to say, hey, if the client exists and it's modded, let's go ahead and launch Minecraft. So here's what goes on right here. We have a bool authed, which basically stands for authorized, and we're going to go ahead and set it false. We are not authorized to start Minecraft. We're going to go ahead and set up a couple strings, user and session. We're going to go ahead and blank them out. Then we're going to set up a string array right here, and we call it res, which is short for response. And we're going to say, hey, that equals verify user. Well, verify user is actually another method down here. And verify user, we're going to send it the username and the password, and then we're going to have another output variable. We're going to send it authed. Well, authed is false right now. So if we go into the code for verify user, we say, hey, we need a response and a request. So we're going to go ahead and set up our request here, and we're going to say, hey, let's send the username, password, and version equals 13. I'm not entirely sure what this is for. Go ahead and send that to login.minecraft.net. We're actually interfacing with the Minecraft login API. And we're going to send that, and we're going to say, hey, let's get our response. Let's get the response from the request. We're going to try this, and if anything happens, like if your internet is down, or if login.minecraft is down, if minecraft.net itself is down, then hey, we're going to say, look, we don't know what happened, but you weren't able to log in. We're going to return null. Nothing happened. Usually that doesn't happen, but it does happen in the rare instance that minecraft.net is down. Otherwise, if you didn't type in the correct username, the correct password, it's going to catch it right here, and I will show you that. I'll show you why in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it. We'll need a stream reader. It's just going to read the response. It's going to read all of it, and it's going to say, hey, if it contains a colon, which I'll show you why, then if it does not contain a colon, then hey, we did not get a valid login. and we're going to explain why, because label4.txt is actually going to it's going to say, hey, it's going to return what login.minecraft.net returned. And in fact, right now I'm going to pause and show you why. Okay, everybody, I'm back. You'll notice that I went ahead and copied that URL up here, login.minecraft.net, and I set user, Strogdor, which is me, password, this is not my password, and version is 13. And when we type that in, or when I typed that in, it gave me bad login. Now I'm going to pause again, and I'm going to show you what happens when I type in my actual password. Okay, hey, I'm back. You'll notice I'm using Cam Studio right now to record this. I went ahead and typed in my real password, and you'll notice that it gave me back this big long string right here that has colons in the middle of it. I don't know what deprecated means, but it has my username, and it has a whole bunch of numbers separated by colons, which is really great. So we're going to go ahead and pause this again, just make sure you don't see my password, and I'll be right back. Alright, it was just as I guessed. As soon as I clicked the X on Google Chrome, the Cam Studio went away, and you would have been able to see my password quite clearly, so I'm really glad I did that. But you see right here that we're looking for the colon, and if it does not contain a colon, then it's going to get the entire response from the website, which in this case would have been bad login, and we're just going to throw that on label 4. However, if none of that happened, then we're going to assume that it had a colon, and we're going to say, hey, you got a good login, and we're going to split the string up into all those little itty bitty parts that it had that were separated by the colons, and we're going to go ahead and say that we're going to look for the colon, and that's going to be the separator, and we're going to send all of that back to here, to the response. If authid equals true, then that means that we got a good response from Minecraft.net, and we're going to go ahead and grab the second and the third elements that we got in the response. Now, if you may remember that my username was actually the third item. If you were paying attention, you might have seen that. Arrays are actually 0 indexed. So if it says 2, it really means 3. And if it says 3, it really means 4. So the third item was actually my username, and it just so happened that the session ID came right after that, and we're going to start Minecraft, send it my username and my session ID, and then we're going to exit the launcher. And the session ID is really important because it actually links with your skin that you use on Minecraft.net. If you use a custom skin, then it will link you up with that. It will link you up with it will basically say that you are a valid user, and it will let you have everything that you can possibly have in the Minecraft game as a valid user. If you do not get the proper session ID, it actually will not link up with your skin, and I'm not entirely sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that there are also some things you cannot do. If you do not have a proper session ID, you cannot join multiplayer servers, for example. So let's go ahead and get into the heart of the Minecraft launcher. What makes this possible is this little method right here called Start Minecraft. When you look at it, there's a lot of red, there's a lot of strings, a lot of things that cannot be changed right here. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to change our environment variable app data to C drive gmodded. Now the reason this is important is because when you start Minecraft, it automatically defaults to your app data. Let me go ahead and open a new Explorer window right here, and we're going to go ahead and go into my folder, into my app data, roaming. Minecraft is right here in the app data folder, and this is actually my Minecraft installation that I had before I went to vanilla 1.5. I actually had the modded client stored in this folder right here. And this is in the app data folder, but we don't want it to be looking in the app data folder. We want it to be looking in C drive Gmod it right here, where it will find Minecraft and say, hey, here it is. So let's go ahead and close that out. So we wanted to change the C drive Gmod it. Now we're going to start up a new process because we're going to be starting Minecraft. We're going to start up a new process. We're going to get some process start info, just some basic info for the process. The directory that we're going to be looking in is C drive gmodit.minecraft/bin. Actually, that's a backslash, my bad. And we're going to send into the info, we're going to give it a file name that it needs to run as javaw. I believe that stands for Java window. I'm not entirely sure. Create no window is true. Then we're going to send javaw some arguments. I have no idea what these arguments are, what this means, but I know that we need to send it the location of the Minecraft jar, the location of the LWJGL jar, the location of the LWJGL util, and J input. And we're going to put all that together. Not entirely sure what this means, but you'll notice I have some escape sequences right here because we actually want quotes to be in with part of our string. Just want to point that out right quick. These are important, they have to be there. Then we're going to send it this, the library path, give it the directory to the natives. This right here, I'm not entirely sure how to tweak, and if you know how to tweak it, you can go ahead and let me know. But this is how you set how much memory Minecraft is allowed to use. Then we're going to go ahead and call net.minecraft.client.minecraft, and this is the actual game right here. And send it the username and the session. And we're going to set the process start info equal to info, and then we're going to start the process, and that is it. That is how the launcher works. If you had any problem keeping up with that, you can pause the video, rewind, look at it again. As I'm trying to run through this as quickly as possible, I don't know how long this video is, but I can imagine it's pretty large by now because I've been recording for quite a while. Now you'll notice, we're going to get into the rest of the code here, but you'll notice that I did not have the form border, so there is no X button to click to close this, and you can, well actually, let me go ahead and minimize this and I'll show you. If you run Gmod it right here, there is no X button for us to click on. So the only way to close it, say you didn't mean to open it and you want to close it, you don't really need to launch the Arcadia pack. You just want to be able to close the window so you can click exit, and it works perfectly. And that is exactly what this right here takes care of. This is the method for the exit button. If you clicked it, exit the application. That's simple. Now remember I was talking about pressing enter key from the password text box. Previously we had up here we had declared a key event handler for the password key. Basically, if you press the key, it's going to go down here and it's going to call this function right here, and it's going to send it some information, key event args, and it's going to say, hey, if the key code was equal to the enter key, then we're going to pretend that you actually clicked button 1, and it's going to call a method for button 1 click. It's going to send it some null arguments because we don't really need them, and that is how you capture the enter key on a text box and make it do something. And if you change the text in the password box, if it's going to call this method every time. I wish there was a way around this, a much cleaner way to do it, but I don't know of one, so this is the only way I know to do it as of yet. If you have a better way, please let me know, because I'm constantly trying to clean up my code. Basically, if your password is blank, we're not going to let you launch the launcher. I mean the mod pack. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and enable that button so you can click on it. And that's basically the extent of my code. If you have any questions, remember you can post in comments. or if you know how to contact me privately, you can do that too. And I am going to sign off. So I will talk to you guys later.